Hello guys, this is our video number 3 about caregivers. Before I start, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit that bell button so you get all the notifications. I'm recording this video on the Valentine's Day, so you know I'm dressed up. I dressed up accordingly. So I will just sum it up shortly what we did in the previous 2 videos. We explained that you cannot apply for live-in caregiver. They are not accepting new applications at the moment, but there are 2 pilot programs which you can apply to. Unfortunately, one of the pilot program already filled the quote, you know, for the filled the quote for 2022, so you will need to wait until 2023 January 1st. Okay, so in the previous video also I explained how you can apply if you do not have any experience. In this video I will explain if you have some qualifying experience but less than 24 months. We are going to read what is the procedure for you. So you are working full-time as a caregiver in Canada. So this is for people who are already in Canada. Recently worked full-time as a caregiver in Canada, but you do not have 24 months of experience yet. So let's see. This is for these people. So let's see what they say. They say, if you have some qualifying work experience in Canada but less than 24 months, you can apply for home child care provider pilot or home support worker pilot. We explained that home child care provider pilot is not available anymore. You have to wait until January 1st, 2023. So what is the process? How the process works. You apply to either the home child care provider pilot or the home supporter worker pilot, depending on occupation you plan to work in. You submit a work permit application together with your permanent residency application. So in the same time you will do the both. If you meet the requirements, you get a work permit to work in Canada temporarily. The work permit you get is an occupation restricted work permit and lets you work as a caregiver for any employer. It's really important that you understand what means occupation restricted open work permit. That means that you can only work in this job occupation. Like let's say you go as a caregiver, you cannot work as a butcher or like, you know, welder, right? So this is really important for you to understand. You can work for any employer as long as you work in your occupation that you originally came to Canada to do. Get at least 24 months of work experience to qualify for permanent residency. So basically you do need 24 months work experience in Canada to be eligible to apply for PR. They will make a final decision on your application for permanent residency. So let's say for those people who are already working in Canada as home child care provider or home support worker, they can apply to one of these pilots to complete your work experience or keep working on your current work permit until you have 24 months of work experience. So I would suggest you work on your work permit and then just like after 24 months apply for permanent for PR. Because you know, I had some people who actually were live-in caregivers and they came back. You know, one of my friends, she went back to her country, you know, because she didn't like life in Canada. She even had a son there, but she didn't like Canada, so she went back. I'm chasing her for the video, you know, so she can tell you everything from first hand, you know, how it was and everything. Plus, you know, she gave a birth to a child in Canada, in Vancouver. So I think you know, she would be more eligible to speak about this because she already went through the entire process. Okay, so now we can see who can apply. Eligibility, again, you have to have a genuine and valid job offer. We explained that in previous video. Are able to do the job, meet the language level, meet the education requirement, are admissible to Canada, and plan to live outside the province of Quebec as a permanent resident. So now we are going to qualifying work experience for, in this. I'm going to this is different than the previous video, because previous video we spoke about people who do not have any work experience. For these people, you have to have your qualifying work experience must be in one of these jobs. It cannot be a mix of both jobs. So you need to have only in one. Make sure the job you're offered matches the work experience you already have. Ability to do the work. They use past experience or training. You have to decide if you're able to do the work described in the NOC job. Language levels. Again, CLB 5 right here is the table. I did it. I also posted this table in my previous video, because I got the lady from Mexico. She sent me to me, oh, I have all the requirements, but I don't have, you know, IELTS General. I told her, better focus, you know, to pass your IELTS General. There is no exception. You need to pass the IELTS General in order to get, you know, to get all the requirements necessary to apply for this program. You know, she said, oh, is there any other way? No, there is no other way. I'm just reading from a government website. So please, you know, if you have to do IELTS General, start thinking on time. We are offering IELTS General packages. It's 36 lessons. Duration is 3 months. Literally, I'm teaching you for 3 months how to pass the test with the best score. You know, we're going to do all the tips and tricks. I did IELTS by myself. I did IELTS Academic, and my scores were 8.5 in writing. So you can do that too. You know, but it took me some time to prepare. It doesn't come naturally because I'm not, you know, a native English speaker. But still, I had to learn all these, like, you know, long words, and you know, I read a lot of material from National Geography. I did all these things, like, can you imagine? There is some word like sesquipedalian. Do you know what that means? So the words are like this. You would never use them in your, you know, in your everyday language. But what I did is IELTS Academic. This is something, if you want to go like to school, you know, to Canada, they will ask for IELTS Academic. But if you're doing like, you know, for immigration purpose, you're doing IELTS General, which is a lot of easier. I'm preparing the students, you know, you can pass it in 3 months. You're preparing for 3 months, then you give yourself time, you know, 2 months to repeat what we learned in 3 months. So in 5 months you take the test. You give yourself time. So for example, this lady in Mexico, I told her, you start now. What day is today? Today is February 14th, so it's gonna be like 3 days, 3 months. It's going to be what, May 14, and then in May 14 you will finish with preparation. Then you allow yourself 2 months, you know, to study by yourself. You know, because we are covering in 36 lessons everything, you know, that can appear on the test. So then you allow yourself until, let's say, July, and July you apply to pass it. If you do not pass from the first, you can always do simulations, are cheaper versions, and it can help you, you know, to get the feeling, because you have to sit 3 hours, you know, it's not easy to sit 3 hours and be concentrated, you know. So I'm telling you, think about this, okay? So we started, we stopped at you know, language test. Then we have education. You need education. Again, there was a question, you know, today below my video. Do they need to translate their degree by you know, WES? Yes, you need. Every time you come to Canada, you will need to evaluate your, not translate, evaluate your degree by WES, so you can get a Canadian equivalency. So these guys are asking a completed post-secondary education credential of at least 1 year in Canada. Because if you are not from Canada, obviously you don't have it. You don't have a Canadian education credential, you need to get your foreign education credential assessed. So please do not ask these questions. Instead, go to the link below the video and check everything by yourself if you do not believe me. Okay, so then we have, what is else? Take a language test. Okay, so that one explained. Then we have how to apply. So let's see how to apply. So tell us if you are outside. So I'm outside the Canada, so you need to get a valid job offer. We already explained that. Number 2, you need to get the instruction guide. I already explained this in a previous video as well. Then you need to complete your application. I explained that you need to hit validate in all the steps, you know, to see if it's then I explain about barcode. Pay your application fees. Again, in that instruction guide you will see you know, what are the fees. Biometrics, I explain how to take. Submit your application. You can submit application online. Okay, this is important, I didn't mention in a previous video. Answer all the questions, sign your application and all forms, include your fee payment receipt, and include all the supporting documents. So supporting documents you already know, but I'm not sure that you know that you have to include fee payment receipt. That's really important. Before you submit your application, use document checklist. I explain you document checklist is something really important. Okay? So they say don't send your application to any other processing center or immigration office. So mail your complete application to the appropriate address at the case processing center in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. So you're sending to Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. This is the address. You click here, you will find the address. Don't send to any other immigration center because it won't be received, okay? After you apply, we will discuss in this video what happens after you apply. Processing your application. An immigration officer will make sure that you filled out your application form correctly, paid your fees, submitted your biometrics, submitted your job offer and work permit application, meet the language requirements, meet the education, included all other required documents and information specified in the application package. If your application isn't complete, it won't be processed and will be sent back to you. Your application will be delayed if there are criminal or security problems or we need to do more background checks. Your family situation is not clear. Reasons could include a divorce or an adoption that is not yet complete, or child custody issues that have not been resolved. So make sure you do not have any legal disputes in your country, because you know this will delay your application, especially if you were not honest. You know, the processing office has to contact the other IRCC offices in Canada or abroad to verify the data you gave. So they do their background check. They won't just let you like that in the country. You can check the status of your application online. You can click there and check. Decision on your work permit application. We make a decision on your application based on whether you meet the eligibility criteria, if you submitted a complete application, and if you are admissible to Canada. In my other videos, I explain what admissible to Canada means. If your application for a work permit is approved. If your application is approved, you get a letter that says you are allowed to work in Canada. Bring this letter with you when you travel to Canada. You need to show to that immigration customs. You know, when you get to the country, there is a port of entry. You will show that to immigration officer. That letter is not a work permit. You get your work permit when you arrive in Canada. This is really important. People do not know this. If you applied from outside Canada, when you arrive in Canada, tell the Border Services Officer, they call him BSO, Border Service Officer, that you have came there to work. They will check your identity to make sure that you're the same person who was approved to travel to Canada. If you enter Canada at one of 10 major Canadian airports, your fingerprints will be checked automatically. At the primary inspection kiosk, the system will check your identity against the information collected when your application was submitted. If you enter Canada at smaller airports and all land ports of entry, your fingerprints may be checked if we refer you to a secondary inspection, where a border service will use a fingerprint verification device to check your fingerprints. People do not feel comfortable when they are referred to this second inspection, because you are usually entering that small room. I call that small room. But if you are transparent, you don't have anything to hide. They're usually really nice. I know when I was going to the United States, once they put me in the small room, but I had a really good time. They were really kind to me. If you pass the identity check and meet the entry requirements, the BSO will stamp your passport or let you know how long you can stay in Canada. Ask questions if you're not sure about something. Usually, you know, they're really polite. You won't be allowed into Canada if you give false or incomplete information. You must convince the officer that you're eligible to enter the Canada. Okay. Presenting your documents. Okay, so they tell you that you have to show the letter of introduction to BSO, then your passport, your visa, any travel documents you are carrying. In supporting documents, if you need to show proof of funds, it's really important. Okay, so that would be it for this video. It's already too long. Again, we will do part 4 where we are talking about people who have 2 years of work experience. I think, you know, they have a little bit different procedure. Pretty much everything is the same, but you can find yourself, you know, it depends where you belong. The procedure is slightly different. I want to thank you again for, you know, for subscribing to my YouTube channel. It means a lot. Also for you know, following me on Instagram and Facebook. I prefer Instagram over Facebook. And don't forget, if you need some, you know, help with job search in Canada, please send your resume to englishconversations26@gmail.com. When I write you that long email and I explain you, you know, our services and fees, please do not reply if we can pay after. You cannot pay after. We are not at the fresh market. I don't want to bargain. Usually, as soon as I see that, you know, that kind of answer, I throw your email to the spam, because you are not a serious candidate. I always ask the same question to these people. If you cannot pay my fees, how will you pay to immigration agent? How will you pay for the ticket to Canada? How will you pay for the accommodation where you need to pay, you know, first, last month and deposit? Like, it's not cheap. It's to move to any country, not only Canada. So you need to think in advance. Again, thank you. Well, happy Valentine's. I know this video will be posted on Wednesday, but again, I want to wish everybody a happy Valentine's. I hope you have somebody you will celebrate the Valentine's Day with. Bye!